Hello, Peter the Cat here. This Sunday, September 29th, marks the 10th anniversary of my artist GuineaPigDan joining DeviantArt, so I decided to do something kind of nostalgic and go over his top 10 favorite drawings from the past decade. Now, I guess before I start this list, I'll explain how GuineaPigDan came to find DeviantArt. It started like years ago. He used to visit this website called the Agony Booth, which posted reviews of bad movies. And in the forums, Daniel saw this one guy named JB Warner86 commenting on the website, and in his signature he had a link to his DeviantArt. And GuineaPigDan clicked it and discovered this whole new art website, and then he started like going into the search bar and searching terms for like Pokemon and Digimon, looking up fan art and stuff, and then he'd start coming across really weird artwork by these artists that called themselves Furries. And at first they freaked him out because he thought these furries wanted to have sex with cartoon animals, but then eventually he started finding more clean artists like Goldenrod the Yellow Fox, and he found that not all furries draw porn and stuff. And so since my artist GuineaPigDan, he kind of liked drawing a bunch of cartoon animals and everything, he decided, you know what, I guess furry is a good label for myself, and in 2009 he joined DeviantArt. Let's get this list started. From 2009, I decided to choose this Rottweiler drawing that my artist GuineaPigDan did for an animal anatomy class. Now, the story behind this drawing is he was visiting a dog park in San Francisco, and he saw this person with their pet Rottweiler, and he decided to take a photo of it, and then he did this drawing. He's trying to render all the fur and kind of indicate some of the anatomy structures, like the shoulder blade of the dog, and it came out pretty nicely, I think. This perfectly captures how absolutely horrid and ugly dogs are. From 2010, my artist decided to choose this piece, a summer contest drawing featuring the artist Sigi from DeviantArt. Now, I don't remember what the rules for this contest were, but I guess one of the rules was we had to draw Sigi's character in some situation. And my artist GuineaPigDan decided to draw his guinea pig character Domino and his raccoon character Rocky, yeah, named after the raccoon from the Beatles song, running away from Sigi's wolf character. Now, there's stuff in this drawing that, yeah, is pretty primitive looking, like the weird way the grass slants, and some of the coloring in the background, not all that detailed, but my artist GuineaPigDan just really likes how silly the scene looks, how frightened, Domino and Rocky look, especially with Rocky's pose holding on the tree branch, and he just thinks it's a really goofy scene, and it's really nice. This drawing was also one of Daniel's attempts at digital art in Photoshop, and as we go on this list, you'll see how much he improves using programs like Photoshop, GIMP, and Sketchbook Pro. From 2011, Daniel chose this drawing, Gamer Cat, the first time he drew me. Now, this started off as a sketch in one of his little sketchbooks. Yeah, I'll hold it up to the camera. It's me playing N64. And when Daniel decided to color this, I'll throw that to the side, he wanted to kind of challenge himself and try to do dark shading and highlights, from the TV. And he also, added the cute detail, like having the cord in between my toes. And in case you've ever wondered, why he named me Peter, it has to do with Catholicism. Peter was the first pope, and according to church tradition, he was crucified upside down. However, cats tend to be symbolic of Judas Iscariot, the worst apostle who betrayed Christ. And so Daniel thought it'd be funny to, take an animal that's the symbol of Judas and give them the name Peter, and it's supposed to be kind of paradoxical and everything. And the upside down cross, is both a Catholic symbol and a satanic symbol. Now, what does any of this have to do with me playing N64? Pretty much nothing. It's just a really cute drawing, and I'm really glad that Daniel now lets me run his YouTube channel. From 2012, we have this drawing, Platypus Fashion Aesthetics. This has Shank the Platypus, a character Daniel created for an animation class, and a German Shepherd character of his he named Chuck. Now, for this drawing, it started off with Daniel wanting to draw Shank, dressed really weird, and so he asked his dad, what's some tacky clothes? And his dad responded, oh, platform shoes. And so this just evolved to Daniel putting Shank in platform shoes and then just putting really bizarre clothes on him. Shank is a platypus, so therefore he must dress really weird and have no sense of style. And Chuck, he's kind of muscular, he looks tough, but Daniel just thought it's funny having this tough guy getting freaked out by a platypus dressed so strangely. Maybe one day Daniel will color this and maybe update the drawing or something. I don't know. We'll see. From 2013, Daniel chose this comic. Joe Mallard denounces Phil Robertson. Now, this was an attempt at doing a political comic, and also, my artist GuineaPigDan, he just likes all the funny expressions Joe Mallard makes in this comic. Now, for those of you not familiar with what this is a reference to, Phil Robertson, one of the hosts of Duck Dynasty, gave this interview to GQ magazine where he said some really controversial stuff, saying he finds gay sex disgusting, and saying any society that rejects Christianity will eventually turn to shit. Citing Nazi Germany as one example, even though the Nazis used a lot of Christian symbolism and their anti-Semitism came from Protestant reformer Martin Luther, but whatever. Anyway, that's the background. And my artist GuineaPigDan, he drew this comic to kind of like satirize both sides. You know, it satirizes the supporters of Phil Robertson, pointing out what a horrible person he really is, but he also kind of satirizes his critics, pointing out that if you demonize Robertson too much, it'll just make him more popular. But that prediction turned out false, because afterward, Duck Dynasty's ratings, took a bit of a dip. Why does anyone care what this fake redneck thinks about anything? I mean, I think the only people that really take Phil Robertson and the rest of his family seriously are Trump-voting fundamentalist Christians that unironically enjoy the God's Not Dead movies. For 2014, Daniel chose cartoons he drew for 2 issues of Skeptic magazine. Now, before anyone comments, yes, I'm aware Michael Shermer has said and done some controversial stuff. I don't agree with everything he says. These drawings were done before that stuff happened. Anyway, all that said, first, this issue, there was an article about statistics in science, and so my artist GuineaPigDan drew these cartoons illustrating different fallacies. The roulette wheel in this cartoon was especially hard to draw. Even though you only partially see it, Daniel tried his best to draw it in perspective and to make it look right. And then for this issue, there was an article about scientific intuition. My artist was asked to draw these cartoons of obsolete scientific ideas like geocentrism. My artist GuineaPigDan was glad that he got to draw for Skeptic magazine, even if Michael Shermer's kind of gone off the deep end. From 2015, Daniel chose this, Furries and Wannabe Furries. What would happen if me and my red panda friend James were humans? Well, we look something like this. This is what would happen if humans tried to infiltrate a furry convention filled with actual furries. It wouldn't go over very well, yeah. Humans kind of have a distinct smell that's really bad that animals can pick up on. But anyway, not only did my artist challenge himself by trying to draw human characters, it was also kind of a challenge trying to do the background. Even though everyone's in darkness, my artist just thought it's funny having all those white eyes looking at the human characters. Sorry humans, but a Kigu or whatever you call those animal jammies, they're not going to fool us. We know real animals when we see them. 2016, my artist chose this drawing, 1978 Domino Field. This is what Domino would look like if Daniel tried to draw him in the style of 1978 Garfield. Yeah, oh, there's the famous pipe comic. Yeah, this is meant to be an homage to the horrible, ugly way Jim Davis used to draw Garfield in the 70s. Beady eyes, giant body, really short legs. I think Daniel did a good job just capturing how grotesque this art style was. And he even tried to do the dots, newspaper dots behind Domino Field here. I can see why Jim Davis eventually switched to having other artists draw Garfield for him. I mean, this style is just really, really ugly. And Quentin Reviews just discovered that there were even earlier Garfield comics from 1976. Maybe Daniel might one day try and draw in that style, an even more grotesque art style, jeez. For 2017, my artist chose this drawing, Furry Karaoke Night, featuring me, James, and Shank the Platypus once again. And this drawing took a lot of time to finish. First, Daniel had to draw, me and the other characters, and then he had to work on the background, and that involved a lot of perspective, on the stage, on the wall, and on the stereo, and he tried to get the lighting correct also. And he also, kind of something for fun, adding graffiti and these weird neon lights on the wall also. This was just a lot of fun to do, and Daniel's really glad how this came out. And I'm also really glad how I look in this drawing too. I mean, seeing how I first looked in 2011 and comparing it to more recent drawings, I just look sexier and sexier. Oh yeah. From 2018, my artist chose this drawing. It's a Pokemon fan art called Too Farfetch'd to Evolve, and it has Farfetch'd sad that it won't evolve into its planned evolution from Generation 2 Madam. Now, for those of you who aren't Pokemon fans, what happened was someone rediscovered the beta ROMs to the Space World 1997 demo of Pokemon Gold and Silver. They were leaked online, and they revealed tons of unused Pokemon, and one of them was an evolution for Farfetch'd named Madam, and since Farfetch'd is seen as this useless Pokemon with no good stats, my artist thought it'd be funny to show Farfetch'd, sad that it can't evolve into Madam. But what's funny now is that in Generation 8 there is going to be an evolution for Farfetch'd named Surfetch'd, My artist is planning to do a sequel to this drawing, so hopefully that turns out well. For 2019, my artist chose 2 drawings. He couldn't decide which one he liked better. Myself and Domino as Keyblade Warriors. Now, Kingdom Hearts 3 came out on January 29th, which is my artist's birthday, and so he thought he should draw some Kingdom Hearts related artwork. Now, if you look at his original sketches, he wasn't really happy with how these looked. They looked a bit too stiff, so after he scanned these, he took these into the computer, we drew them, and he's much happier with the final result. They're much toonier, and he really likes how the shading looked in the sewer I'm in. They're just much nicer looking, and my artist is going to take style cues, like the way he drew Domino here, he's going to apply that to future drawings. My artist also plans to do drawings of other characters in Kingdom Hearts style, like he's working on these drawings of Cinnamon and Midnight, 2 other guinea pig characters of his, as Keyblade characters. So, expect these to be colored sooner or later in the future. So that's the list. We hope you all enjoyed that artwork and seeing how my artist GuineaPigDan has developed over the years. And Daniel hopes he'll continue making more and more awesome artwork in the future. We're going to have some appearances at conventions soon. Pacific Anthro weekend in November, we got a dealer table there. And further confusion, we also got a spot in the marketplace. Yeah, that'll be in January 2020, so come and see us. And I hope to continue making more and more awesome videos. I've got some Garfield videos planned, and I'm also planning another Marilyn Manson video, talking about some of the fundamentalist Christians that hate Marilyn Manson and making fun of them. That's all. Peter the Cat here. Bye, everybody. How's that, Garfield? It's Undertale. Oh no, you don't have to tell me, Garfield. I know what you're gonna say. You bring shame to Toby Fox or something like that. Well, if you're such a musical genius, why don't you give it a try? Come on, Garfield, show me how you play Beethoven or something.